All right. Same hour, same frequency. We say that like it guarantees anything at all. Like repetition is the safeguard against things changing when we're not looking. Before we get to the callers tonight, I want to walk through a few things we're following. And I'm going to slow this down a bit because some of the language coming out of different systems lately is doing that thing where it sounds important but doesn't actually explain itself. So we'll fix that. First one. There's been a phrase showing up across multiple reporting systems in different parts of the United States, mostly Midwest infrastructure zones and East Coast data corridors. The phrase is, attention drift degradation. Now, I don't like that phrase either. So here's what it actually means in plain terms. It means people are getting responded to less consistently, even when nothing obvious about them has changed. Not ignored outright, not blocked, not removed. Just responded to later, or less directly, or skipped over without anyone really noticing they did it. It's like you're in a conversation with a group of people, and over time, without anyone announcing it, you just stop being the first person they turn to when something happens. You're still there. You're still included. You just stop being selected first. Evan said that's just being socially recued, which I think is what happens when engineers try to describe loneliness without using the word loneliness. Our second story. We've had reports from several major urban regions in the United States, Chicago South Grid, New York Metro East, and parts of Atlanta Interface Zone, describing something similar, but from other sides. Not how people are experiencing it, but how people are reacting to each other. And this part is important, because it's not that individuals are changing. It's that the order of importance in conversations seems to be shifting. Same person, same room, same interaction, but different priority depending on context. So one person gets answered immediately in one group and barely acknowledged in another, even when nothing about them has changed. And when you start collecting enough of those reports, you begin to see why people are uncomfortable using normal language for it. Because it doesn't feel like rudeness. It feels like something is quietly sorting who matters first. Now the third thing. There's a phrase circulating in internal notes and fragmented system logs that we've been tracking for a few days. It keeps appearing in slightly different wording, but always pointing at the same idea. People are calling it zero priority behavior. And again, I want to be careful here. This is not a defined system category. It's more like what people start saying when they notice a pattern they can't explain in simple terms anymore. Evan wrote next to it, that's what happens when the system starts pretending everything gets equal attention, which I don't think was meant to be comforting. I asked him what system. He said, any of, which is also unhelpful in a very broad way. So that's where we are tonight. Multiple regions, multiple reports, same general pattern, different ways of describing it. And the common thread seems to be this. People are still present. They are still participating. But they are not being picked first anymore in the way they used to be. Which brings us to tonight's lines. Because the only way to understand whether this is real is to hear from the people experiencing it directly. Same hour, same frequency. Let's begin. All right, first caller tonight. Where are you calling from?
Ohio. Toledo East Corridor residential grid.
That sounds like something a committee named after lunch.
Yeah, fair.
Name?
Mark.
All right, Mark, go ahead.
I don't really know how to say it without sounding like I'm overthinking it. People don't respond to me the same anymore. Not rude, just not first.
Give me an example.
Work group chat. I say something People used to reply quick. Now they reply to other people first. Or I get answered later. Or not at all unless I repeat myself.
So you're getting moved down the list?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I don't feel ignored, I feel delayed.
Anything change on your end? New job, new people?
Nope. That's the problem. Everything's the same.
When did it start?
A couple weeks back, around when people I know started using that app.
Ah, which app?
The Odds app.
I knew it. Go on.
It doesn't tell them anything directly, but they check it before they reply, before plans, like it decides who matters first.
So it's changing how people move.
Yeah. When I talk to people who don't use it, everything feels normal. When I talk to people who do, I'm not first anymore.
Not first.
Yeah, I'm still there. It's not the one they go to first.
Evan just wrote something. It didn't change people, it changed the order they think in. That's either a useful insight or a bad sign, maybe both. He added, like rearranging furniture in someone's head. Mark, straight question. Do you think they're doing this on purpose?
No. They think they're normal. That's what's weird about it.
So nothing feels wrong from their side?
Yeah, but for mine, I'm always second. Even when I'm already there.
Last thing. If everyone stopped using the app tomorrow, do you think it would go back?
I don't think so, because they're still in it. And I'm still in it too, just lower.
Lower?
Yeah, not gone, just not picked first.
That's the second person tonight who said that. Not gone, just not first. I don't like hearing that twice in one night. All right. Second caller tonight. You're in GhostLine. Where are you calling from?
Minnesota, St. Paul North Loop Corridor.
That's one of the more aggressively named places I've heard all week.
Yeah, nobody really calls it that in real life, just on paperwork.
That feels like a running theme tonight. What's your name?
Dana.
All right, Dana, go ahead.
I wasn't gonna call, but I heard that last guy, Mark. And yeah, that's exactly it.
You're experiencing the same thing.
Not exactly the same, but similar. It's like I'm not being prioritized in conversations anymore, but I can tell when it started.
When?
When my friends started using the Odds app more seriously.
Go on.
At first it was just jokes, like, well, let me check my odds before I reply. But then it became normal. They'd check it before responding to group messages, before saying yes to plans, even before reacting.
So it became a filter?
Yeah. But not just for decisions, for people.
Explain that.
I don't show up in conversations the same way anymore. Like, I'll say something in a group chat, and someone else responds first, every time. Even when I said it's important, it's like I'm never the first priority in their heads anymore.
So Mark from earlier said Q. You're saying priority.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like a cue. It feels automatic. Like they don't choose it. They just respond in a different order now.
Evan wrote something. It's not deciding who matters less, it's deciding who gets thought of first. Which is a terrifying distinction when you really sit with it. He also wrote, like autocomplete for human relationships. Dana, let me ask you something. Do your friends notice they're doing it?
No. That's the weird part. They think everything is normal. They'd probably say I'm imagining it. But I can see the pattern. I always get answered second now. Not ignored. Just second.
And before the app?
I used to be first sometimes. Not always, but enough that I didn't notice when I stopped being it.
Do you think the app is ranking you?
I think it already did. I think it just doesn't tell people directly. It just changes how they respond.
That's a strong claim.
I know, but I tested it.
How?
I asked 2 different friends the same question at the same time. One who uses the app constantly and one who doesn't.
And?
The one who doesn't replied to me first. Every time. The one who uses the app replied like I was further down in their head, even though we were literally talking at the same time.
Evan just stopped writing.
Is that bad?
It usually is, yes. Or he's just thinking very loudly, which is also not great for me.
I don't think people are doing it on purpose. That's what makes it worse. This feels like they don't even realize they've moved.
Moved where?
Down. Not gone, just not first anymore.
That's now 3 callers tonight describing the same idea in different words. And I don't like how consistent that's becoming. Alright, we need to stop for a moment. There's been an assassination. Silas Creed, a controversial senator from Washington State, is confirmed dead after an attack earlier today. Here's what we know. It happened in a public place. There were witnesses. There were recordings. Authorities are now reviewing everything. He was taken to hospital and later died there. Now listen closely. The information is not stable. Reports are already conflicting. Times don't match. Different recordings show slightly different versions of the same moment. Even early summaries are already shifting. We are not speculating on motive. We're not repeating unverified claims. That is not what this broadcast does, but I will say this. When something moves through the system this fast, it doesn't just change reporting. It changes what people think they remember. And those memories are already starting to split depending on the source. Evan is seeing something in the background feeds. Early footage is spreading in a way that doesn't look normal. We'll come back to it if it matters tonight. For now, we open the lines. If you saw it yourself, I want your account. Not what you heard, not what you read, what you actually saw. Call in and we'll take it from here. All right. I'm going to do something I don't usually do here. I'm going to say the quiet part out loud because I've noticed something tonight. And I don't like how it's becoming obvious. We've had 3 callers, 3 different regions, 3 different lives, but they've all described the same thing, just in slightly different language. Mark said he's being answered second. Dana said she's being a lower priority. And Rylan from earlier said people are being treated as optional. Same idea, different vocabulary. And normally, that would just mean we're dealing with a shared cultural interpretation. People describing the same feeling differently. That's normal, and that's fine. But here's the part I don't like. They didn't just describe the same idea. They described it in the same direction. Not disappearing, not ignored, not removed, just not first anymore. That phrase keeps repeating, not from them, from how I'm hearing it. Evan says that's pattern recognition starting to get anxious, which I think is his polite way of saying I should stop noticing things. But I want to go back to something Dana said, because it stuck. She said, people don't realize I've moved. Moved. Not changed, not excluded, moved. And Mark said something similar without realizing it. He said, I always arrive second now. That's not language people usually invent independently in different cities. Not that cleanly, not that consistently. And here's what makes this uncomfortable for me personally. We didn't prompt them with that wording. We didn't introduce that idea. They arrived at it on their own. And now I'm hearing it in my own head while I repeat it back, which is never a good sign in broadcasting. Evan just wrote, "Congratulations, you've discovered recursion." I don't like that he's still funny during this. It feels irresponsible. Let me ask something out loud, because I want to test something here. If 3 people in 3 different regions all start describing themselves as not being first anymore, is that coincidence? Or is that how something spreads when it doesn't announce itself? Because I want to be very clear about something. Nobody tonight has said they're gone. Nobody tonight has said they're being removed. Nobody has said anything dramatic. They've just all said the same quiet thing in different words. And I don't know if that makes it better or worse. Evan just looked at me and said, "You've said the same sentence 3 times tonight." And I hadn't noticed I was doing that. So now I'm wondering if that's just how this works, or if that's how I'm starting to hear it. Alright, before we close tonight, I want to try something slightly different. We had 4 callers, different cities, different voices, same idea. And I keep thinking about that because it's not just what they're saying anymore. It's the fact that they're saying it the same way without realizing it. Mark said, "I'm second now." Dana said, "I'm not first anymore." And Ryland said, "I'm lower than I used to be." And I want to be very careful how I say this, because none of those are dramatic statements. They're not even complaints, they're observations, which is what makes them worse. Evan says observations are just complaints that got tenure, which I don't think helps right now. But here's the thing I can't shake. Every caller tonight described a shift in order. Not loss, not disappearance, order. Who gets responded to first? Who gets thought of first? Who gets answered without hesitation? And I don't know if anyone's noticed this yet, but I've been hearing it in the structures of the calls themselves. Even the way people introduce themselves, even the pauses, even the timing of the response. It's starting to feel like everything is being slightly re-ranked in real time. And I want to test something live here. We've had people from Ohio, Minnesota, Michigan, all describing the same experience without ever using the exact same words. But they all landed on the same sentence anyways in different forms. "I'm not first anymore." And I don't know if that's language spreading or something making sure it's the only way people can describe it. Evan just leaned over and said something I don't think he meant to say out loud. He said, "Check the order of playback," which is not something you say casually during a live broadcast. I'm looking at the log here. And I need to be honest about something. The order of segments tonight doesn't match what I remember recording. That's not a joke, not metaphor. That's just inconsistent playback. So either I'm losing track of my own show, or the show's losing track of itself. And I really hope it's me, because that's an easier fix. Alright, let me say this clearly before we go. If attention is being redistributed, if response order is being readjusted, if people are being placed second without anyone deciding it consciously, then the question is no longer who's disappearing. The question is, who is still being chosen first? Because tonight, it feels like that list is getting shorter. Same hour, same frequency. We'll be back next time, if we're still in the same place we think we are.
is over you.